All right, picture this. You wake up, and maybe before your feet even hit the floor, your phone is in your hand. Instagram reels, the news, maybe a quick email check.
Hmm.
Then you move to the kitchen, iPad streaming a recipe while you cook. Then it's off to work, multiple screens open, and all the while, that little device on your wrist is buzzing, tapping, pulling at your attention. You know the feeling, don't you?
Oh, definitely. It's this constant barrage, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
you're perpetually on. Every notification feels like the most urgent thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge. So many of us face this every single day.
Absolutely. And look, if you've ever felt that struggle to focus, that sense of being pulled in a million directions, you are so not alone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into some really fascinating research and also the personal experiments of one expert. This person really dedicated himself to understanding this very modern problem. Our mission here is to uncover some maybe surprising truths about why we struggle to focus, and more importantly, how we can maybe reclaim our attention, transform our daily lives, maybe even unleash some creativity.
And what's so interesting is how universal that scenario you painted is. The expert whose work we're diving into, he described his own life like that.
Yeah.
Just a cascade of screens, morning till night.
Really?
Yeah, he'd start with his phone in bed, watching cooking videos, bouncing between apps, then the iPad by the oven for breakfast, then onto multiple screens for work. And that little devil on his wrist, as he called it.
Ah, the smartwatch.
Exactly. Constantly tapping, beeping, always demanding, a piece of his focus.
That sounds incredibly relatable. We all have those digital things that just seem to eat our time. Which one did he kind of identify as the biggest culprit for him, the biggest time waster, and what did he actually do about it?
Well, he pinpointed the smartphone, without a doubt. He admitted it could just consume hours of his day. So for his first big experiment, he challenged himself. He decided to limit his phone use to just 30 minutes a day for everything.
Wait, 30 minutes total for maps, calls, music, podcasts, everything.
Everything. All phone-based activities
Yeah.
for a whole month.
Wow, 30 minutes. That sounds like a monumental shift. What was that initial adjustment like? Did he notice anything right away?
Well, it wasn't instant bliss, interestingly. He said it took about a week maybe to kind of adjust downward into a new, lower level of stimulation.
Okay, that makes sense. A sort of detox period.
Exactly.
Right.
But once that adjustment happened, three curious things started to emerge. First, his attention span actually grew. Focusing got much easier. Second, he started having more ideas, especially, he noticed, when his mind was just allowed to wander a bit.
Interesting.
And third, he found himself making more plans, thinking more clearly about the future, just from reducing phone time. These kind of profound changes started happening.
Those are really powerful personal insights. But what does the bigger picture look like? Does the research back this up? Are these individual experiences reflected in, wider trends?
That's a great question. Why did just cutting back on one device have such a big impact? And yeah, when you look at the research on modern attention spans, well, the stats are pretty jarring.
How jarring.
Okay, so get this. When you're working on a computer, right?
Right.
Especially if your phone is just sitting there nearby, studies show we focus on one thing for only about 40 seconds before our attention jumps somewhere else.
40 seconds. That's it. Less than a minute.
Yeah. And if you have common communication apps open, like Slack, it drops even further, down to maybe 35 seconds.
45 seconds. Wow. So is the problem just that we're easily distracted, or is there something deeper going on here, a more fundamental reason?
Well, this is what the research really points to, and it's critical. Distraction isn't really the problem itself. It's more like a symptom.
A symptom of what?
A symptom of a deeper issue. The real root cause seems to be overstimulation.
Overstimulation. Okay.
Our brains aren't just easily diverted. It's almost like they crave distraction. There's this thing in our minds called novelty bias. Basically, our brain rewards us with a little hit of dopamine, that pleasure chemical.
Right, the feel-good chemical.
Exactly. We get that hit every time we check social media or glance at email.
So, wait, our brains are essentially wired to seek out distractions, and they reward us for it, like a little mental pat on the back every time a notification pops up.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of reward system that gets activated when you, achieve a big goal or eat something amazing. We're kind of stuck in this hyper-stimulated state, constantly bouncing between these highly stimulating things, and our brains are actively encouraging us to keep doing it because, well, it feels good momentarily.
Okay, so given the positive effects he saw from just cutting back the phone stimulation, the next logical step would be, well, what if you lower stimulation even more? How did the expert take that idea further?
Right, he wondered the same thing, and he started thinking about that feeling we get when we go from high stimulation to low stimulation. You know that feeling?
Uh-huh. Boredom.
Exactly. Boredom. So he defined it that way. Then he actually issued a challenge to his readers. He asked them for suggestions for the most boring activities they could possibly imagine, and then he committed to being deliberately bored for an hour a day. For a month.
An hour of deliberate boredom daily. What?
Right.
What kind of things did he actually do? This sounds intense.
Oh, it was. Day 1, he just read the iTunes terms and conditions for an hour.
Oh my God.
Day 4, he spent an hour waiting on hold. With Air Canada's baggage claims department, he even shared a pro tip. If you really want to be bored, call baggage claims, not reservations. You'll wait for hours, apparently, if you even get through.
Okay, note taken, though. I hope I don't need that tip. What else?
Let's see. Day 19, he counted zeros and the first 10,000 digits of pi,
For an hour.
counting zeros in pi.
In day 24, he just watched a clock tick for a full hour. Watching a clock tick for an hour? That sounds like pure torture, almost. What did he say that felt like? And more importantly, what were the results? Did he see the same benefits?
Well, curiously, after about a week, and this lines up with research showing it takes our minds about 8 days to fully calm down, kind of like how you feel settling into a vacation.
Okay.
He noticed the exact same benefits as the smartphone experiment.
Really? The same ones?
Yep. His attention span expanded again. He found he could focus more effortlessly. And this wasn't because there were fewer distractions around him necessarily. It was because his mind was just so much less stimulated that it didn't seek out distraction in the first place. It wasn't craving it anymore.
Wow. And what about the ideas and plans? Did that happen again, too? That seems really key. It sounds like this isn't just about managing distraction. It's about unlocking something else, creativity.
Precisely. That increase in ideas and plans, it seems directly connected to the mind just having more chances to wander. You know that great quote from J.R.R. Tolkien, "Not all those who wander are lost."
Yeah, I love that quote.
Well, it turns out the same is profoundly true for our focus and attention.
Think about it yourself, right? When do your best ideas hit you? Is it usually when you're like head down focused on a spreadsheet?
Probably not.
Or is it more often when you're maybe in the shower or on a long walk? For most people, it's those moments of quiet mind wandering.
Yeah, most people find that when they're intensely focused, they're usually executing on something already decided. But those aha moments, those really novel insights, they often strike when your mind is relaxed, allowed to drift and connect ideas that maybe didn't seem connected before. This deliberate mode of letting your mind wander. That's what the expert calls scatter focus.
Scatter focus. I like that. It sounds less aimless than just wandering. So when we give our minds that space to scatter, where do they tend to go? Does the brain have like preferred destination?
It does, actually. Research shows that when you let your attention just rest and wander, it goes to 3 main places: the past, the present, and the future. Interestingly, we spend less time thinking about the past than you might guess. Only about 12% of the time, often just recalling ideas or memories.
Okay.
We think about the present about 28% of the time. And this can be really productive for, like, problem solving. For example, maybe you're trying to figure out how to phrase a tricky email. Getting up and walking to another room without your phone, that little bit of scatter focus can help your mind work on it.
Right, letting it mull things over. And what about the future? How much time is spent looking ahead?
This is the really remarkable part. Our minds wander to think about the future more than the past and present combined. A full 48% of the time.
Wow, nearly half the time.
Yeah. This is why, when you're in the shower, you might find yourself planning out your whole day or rehearsing conversations or solving problems before they even happen. It's what researchers call our mind's perspective bias. It just highlights the incredible planning and creative power of letting your mind wander.
That's amazing. So the trick then is finding activities that let your mind wander without needing your full focused attention. The expert's personal example was knitting. He knits on planes, trains, says he gets so many ideas he keeps a notepad nearby.
Yep. Knitting works for him.
So what other simple things could people try? Accessible ways to cultivate this scatter focus.
Oh, it could be really simple things, like taking a slightly longer shower or bath, just letting yourself soak in the ideas literally. Or if you're at work, like we said, instead of grabbing your phone when you walk between rooms or meetings, just don't. Let your mind drift to the meeting ahead or the call you just finished. You'll often find surprising clarity pops up.
Yeah.
It could just be waiting in line without pulling out your phone, or even getting a massage. And here's a pro tip from the expert again. Ask your masseuse if you can have a notepad nearby. Seriously, Ideas often flow when your body relaxes, and you'll want to capture them.
A notepad during a massage. Interesting. Okay, so after diving into all these experiments and the research, what are the really fundamental shifts we need to make in how we think about our attention, our lives?
I think there are two really crucial shifts. First, we need to embrace space, not speed.
Yeah.
We live in this hustle culture, right? Always thinking we need to fit more in, cram more into our days. But the truth is, we're often just doing too much. And our minds never get that downtime, that chance to wander and process. Think about traffic on a highway. What
Mm.
actually allows it to move forward smoothly? It's not how fast the individual cars are going, it's the space between the cars.
Oh, that's a great analogy. Space allows flow.
Exactly. Our work, our lives,
Hmm.
they're the same way. We need more space, not just more speed.
Okay, space, not speed. Got it. And the second fundamental shift.
The second one is really internalizing that distraction isn't the enemy, it's a symptom. It's easy to blame the notifications, the apps, the devices, but the deeper issue is that our minds are fundamentally overstimulated. Once you start to address that, the underlying overstimulation, the urge for constant distraction naturally lessens. And all those benefits, focus, ideas, calm, they start to surface.
This all sounds genuinely transformative. Okay, so for you listening right now, we have a challenge. It's a 2-week challenge, and it's simply this. For the next 2 weeks, deliberately try to make your mind less stimulated.
Just observe what happens. Pay attention to your tensions. What happens to your focus? How many ideas pop up? Does your focus change? How many plans do you find yourself making for the future? Just notice.
And here are some concrete, actionable steps you could take to make this happen. Maybe use the screen time features on your phone or other devices, see where the time is really going, cut back. You could implement a daily disconnection ritual, like maybe no internet from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., just cut it off.
Yeah, that's a popular one.
Or maybe consider a weekly tech Sabbath, like take all of Sunday or maybe Saturday completely offline. Reconnect with the physical world. And yes, maybe rediscover boredom, even for just a few minutes each day. You don't have to call Air Canada baggage claims. Promise.
Please don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, just let yourself be bored for a bit. And finally, actively practice that scatter attention. Find your version of knitting or showering. Allow your mind that space to wander. See what remarkably fruitful things might emerge when you're not constantly directing it.
You know, if there's one really profound insight to take away from this whole deep dive, I think it's this. The state of our attention is what ultimately determines the state of our lives.
That's powerful.
When we're constantly overstimulated, constantly distracted, our lives can feel, well, overwhelming, maybe directionless, kind of chaotic. But by becoming less stimulated, by intentionally calming our minds, we seem to gain so much. Added productivity, sure, but also sharper focus, more ideas, more creativity.
Ultimately, it seems like we unlock a better, maybe more intentional, more directed life.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with.
If our best ideas, our most useful plans, really do emerge in those quiet moments of mind wandering, what profound insights, what solutions might you be missing out on simply by filling every single available moment with stimulation? What could you create or solve or figure out if you intentionally carved out just a little more space for your mind to roam?